They think they're smarter than you, because they're always 3 steps ahead. But what if I told you they're walking straight into a future you already designed? In a world where everyone is trying to outsmart each other, the real problem is this. Most people are playing checkers, while believing they are playing chess. They react. They calculate a few moves ahead. They feel intelligent, but they lose. In this video, we will solve one brutal problem. How do you dominate people who are already strategic without them ever realizing they were outplayed? You will learn how to think not 3 steps ahead, but 10. And once you do, you won't just win the game, you will control it. Every man who believes himself clever measures his intelligence by the swiftness of his reaction. He counts moves as though each action were a jewel to be hoarded, a step to be praised. But this is the folly of those who mistake activity for strategy. They see the board, they see the pieces, they see the immediate threats, and they delight in their ability to anticipate 3 steps. And yet, this is the weakness of the average mind. It is chained to the moment, blind to the horizon, enthralled by the motions rather than the conclusion. You must understand this. To dominate the clever, you cannot merely think 1, 2, or 3 steps ahead. You must see the board as though it were a living entity, as though each piece, each pawn, each insignificant seeming force moves not only in response to your action, but in accordance with a design only you perceive. You must think in outcomes, not moves. While your opponent concerns himself with the next step, you must see where the sequence will lead if left unchecked, and how you can shape it subtly, invisibly, into the future you intend. The man who measures intelligence by immediate reaction cannot grasp a plan that unfolds over 10 moves, for he lacks the patience and the vision to anticipate consequences beyond his immediate perception. Consider the difference between those who plan moves and those who design outcomes. The former reacts, adjusts, frets, hoping each step will carry them closer to victory. They make calculations like men measuring water with their hands, spilling much and gathering little. The latter, the strategist, sees the river before it bends, the storm before it forms, and guides the world itself to flow along his invisible path. When you think in outcomes, you are no longer at the mercy of others' perception or reaction. You become the unseen force to which others must adjust, even as they imagine themselves in command. To master this, you must cultivate a mind that can dwell in the final position long before any piece reaches it. You must envision not simply the next encounter, but the 10th, the 20th, the 100th consequences of your actions, and then act in the present in ways that align with that distant end. This requires patience, observation, and a cunning that borders on artistry. You must ask not, what will they do next? But, how will this series of moves, manipulated subtly, lead to the reality I desire? The moment you begin to think in outcomes, the superficial cleverness of your opponent becomes irrelevant. Their 3 steps ahead matter nothing, for you are 10 moves beyond them, guiding every choice they believe to be their own. And yet, one must not be hasty. The temptation of immediate gratification, of visible dominance, of showing the force of one's intellect, is the downfall of many who believe themselves Machiavellian. The master does not strike to be applauded. The master moves pieces unseen, and only when the end has arrived do men realize the subtlety of his design. You must practice invisibility in strategy. Your opponent sees your hands, but not the strings. They feel pressure, but not the weight of your intent. They interpret your actions, yet their interpretations always lead them into the very outcome you have planned. This is the elegance of outcome-driven strategy. A mind that dwells in outcomes also learns to value restraint over impulse. While others are obsessed with immediate counters, with winning the skirmish of the moment, you observe, you calculate, you permit events to unfold in alignment with your ultimate aim. Every decision is measured not by its immediate effect, but by its eventual contribution to the desired reality. Your foresight becomes a tool of power, a shield against miscalculation, a weapon against overconfident adversaries who cannot fathom the distance of your vision. To think in outcomes is to dominate the invisible realm of time itself. Every step you take, every choice you make, every seeming concession is part of a broader symphony whose score is written in your mind alone. Those who see only moves believe themselves intelligent because they can predict immediate responses. You surpass them by knowing where all moves converge, by seeing the unseen currents beneath the actions of men, and by directing them to your predetermined shore without their knowledge. The three-step thinker will always be trapped by the present, by what is visible, by the illusion of control. You, the master of outcomes, will always be 10 moves ahead, guiding the game, controlling perception, and ensuring that by the time they realize your design, victory is already inevitable. Power is most easily maintained when those around you believe they hold it. The cleverest adversaries, the ones who boast of foresight and cunning, are often the most vulnerable precisely because of their arrogance. They assume that intelligence is measured by the number of steps one can see ahead, that influence is a matter of obvious action, and that the visible is always the real. This is their fatal error. The reality is that the world is ruled not by what is seen, but by what is invisible. And it is in the invisible, in the threads of perception and the subtleties of expectation, where true dominance is forged. To control others, you must first understand their need for control. Men crave certainty. They cling to the belief that the world is a game of logic and predictable patterns, that if they anticipate 3 moves ahead, they are secure. They measure themselves against what they can see, what they can influence, what they can touch, and in doing so, they blind themselves to the greater design. They do not perceive the hand that guides the board. They do not notice the currents that shape the waves before they rise. Their confidence is born of an illusion, and illusions, no matter how firm, are fragile. You must learn to exploit this illusion. The enemy believes he holds dominion because he perceives action where there is only reaction, movement where there is only direction, choice where there is only design. He trusts his calculations, admires his foresight, and assumes he is steering the course of events. But you, the strategist, understand that the appearance of control is as powerful as control itself. To bend others to your will, you need not break them openly. You need only shape their perception so that they act as though they are in command, while in truth, they follow the path you have prepared. The man who believes he controls is predictable, and predictability is the gateway to manipulation. The illusion of control allows you to orchestrate without confrontation. You do not shout your power, you do not display it for all to see. You allow your adversaries to believe they understand, to believe they can anticipate your every move. You feed their confidence, and with each step they take under this delusion, they move closer to your intended outcome. They walk willingly into the design you have constructed, thinking that each action is a product of their own intellect. And because they are convinced of their supremacy, they will never suspect the invisible influence that guides them, nor the subtle forces that shape every decision they make. To wield this power effectively, one must cultivate patience and subtlety. Immediate dominance is obvious and easily resisted. Invisible dominance, however, is inexorable. You must act through suggestion, through circumstance, and through the shaping of expectations. A word here, a gesture there, a circumstance arranged with precise Timinjich element appears inconsequential, yet in aggregate, they create a reality the opponent cannot resist. By the time the adversary recognizes the influence, it is too late. The game has already been decided, the outcome already written, and the so-called controller finds himself merely a puppet dancing on strings he does not perceive. Furthermore, the illusion of control masks your intentions from observation. When enemies think they are influencing events, they rarely question your motives. Their focus is outward, on their perceived power, not inward on the subtle forces that guide them. This blindness allows you to maneuver freely, to establish positions of advantage, and to consolidate influence without resistance. You operate beneath the radar, undetected and unopposed, while your adversaries exhaust themselves in attempts to assert a dominion they do not truly possess. Every confident gesture they make, every calculated step, only serves to advance your design. The genius of the illusion of control lies in its simplicity. Those who believe they command will act with boldness. They will make decisions without hesitation, thinking they understand the consequences, while in truth, each choice serves your long-term strategy. Confidence becomes their weakness. They move as you direct, yet they remain convinced of their autonomy. And herein lies the ultimate advantage. The one who shapes perception shapes reality itself. The mind that is blind to the invisible will always be ensnared by it, and the strategist who understands this truth will always triumph. When you master this art, you realize that control is never about force, never about overt power. True mastery comes from guiding, from orchestrating, from allowing others to think they steer the course of events, while in reality, they follow a path laid by you. And as they pride themselves on foresight and cunning, they unwittingly advance your agenda, believing themselves to be the authors of their own fate, while you, unseen, determine every outcome that will unfold before them. Impatience is the poison of the ambitious. The untrained mind believes that power is seized through haste, that victories are claimed by the first hand that strikes, that triumph belongs to the one who moves fastest. These men are always in a rush, always reacting, always desperate to demonstrate their cleverness in the present. They mistake activity for mastery, momentum for control, and speed for intelligence. Yet the one who understands the true nature of strategy knows that patience is not mere waiting, nor is it weakness. Patience is a weapon sharper than the blade, subtler than the arrow, deadlier than open force. To wield patience strategically, one must see time as pliable, as a servant to be commanded, rather than a master to be obeyed. Every event unfolds not in isolation but within a chain of cause and effect that stretches far beyond the perception of ordinary men. The impatient act in the moment, grasping for immediate advantage, and in doing so, they reveal themselves, exhaust their resources, and betray their intentions. The patient strategist, by contrast, acts with foresight, letting the currents of circumstance carry others forward, allowing them to commit to decisions that appear free but are in fact guided by the subtle hand of calculated design. The greatest victories are often invisible at first. They are built slowly, imperceptibly, until the structure of power is so complete that resistance becomes impossible. The man who strikes too soon sees only fleeting gains and immediate responses, never the full orchestration of events. The one who masters patience allows each step to unfold naturally, like a seed growing in hidden darkness, gaining strength until it bursts forth in inevitability. To cultivate this patience, you must learn restraint not for moral reasons, but for power. You must resist the temptation of immediate action, understanding that to move without full consideration is to surrender the future to chance. Strategic patience also requires observation. The impatient act, the wise watch. They study their opponents, they study the environment, they study themselves. They learn when aggression will provoke resistance, when delay will induce overconfidence, and when silence will produce the desired result. Each moment is evaluated not for its immediate reward, but for how it contributes to the ultimate objective. By waiting, you gain clarity. You see flaws in your adversary's reasoning, openings in their confidence, and weaknesses they themselves are blind to. The impatient cannot perceive these subtleties because their eyes are fixed on the surface, their hands restless for action, their minds blinded by urgency. Furthermore, patience amplifies power through anticipation. When others rush forward, reacting only to the present, you position yourself ahead of them in both thought and circumstance. You allow events to unfold in ways that seem coincidental, letting your opponents believe they have chosen freely, while each apparent decision nudges them toward the reality you have designed. The advantage of strategic patience is invisibility. The enemy cannot fight what he does not see, cannot counter what he does not comprehend. While he celebrates his perceived intelligence, you cultivate inevitability. The true strategist is not content with winning a single battle. He seeks dominance over entire campaigns, entire outcomes, entire lifetimes. Impatience limits vision to the moment, patience extends it into eternity. Each delay, each calculated silence, each measured restraint is a brushstroke in the grand design. The impatient see only the present skirmish, the immediate confrontation. The patient see the chain of events, the unfolding patterns, and the eventual triumph that appears miraculous, only because others were blind to the work that came before. Strategic patience also tests the minds of adversaries. Men who move too quickly betray their weaknesses. They reveal their desires, their fears, their expectations. The patient manipulates these tendencies, allowing the impatient to expose themselves fully before acting. In this way, time becomes a weapon against the unwary. The longer they act without full comprehension, the more vulnerable they become. Your patience transforms their strength into weakness, their confidence into overconfidence, their intelligence into blind arrogance. To master strategic patience is to master timing itself. It is to recognize that every action has consequences far beyond what the immediate eye perceives, and that true influence is exerted not through force, but through controlled orchestration over time. It is the art of allowing the world to move while you shape its path, unseen, inexorably, with the inevitability of a river carving through rock. Every measured moment, every delayed action, every calculated restraint brings you closer to victory, while the impatient, blinded by haste, stumble into defeat. The most potent form of power is the power that remains unseen. While fools seek recognition, applause, or the immediate acknowledgement of their strength, the true master operates in silence, shaping events, opinions, and outcomes without revealing the extent of his hand. Influence that is visible can be resisted, challenged, and countered. Influence that is invisible, unavoidable, and absolute. The enemy will act according to your design without ever realizing that he dances to your tune, believing every step to be his own. Invisible influence is the art of orchestrating outcomes while hiding the mechanism of control. It requires the mind to perceive not only what people do, but why they do it, and to manipulate the unseen currents that guide these actions. Every conversation, every glance, every circumstance can be a tool to redirect attention, to seed doubt, to inspire confidence, or to instill fear without appearing to interfere. To command invisibly is to shape reality itself, while the world continues in blissful ignorance of your hand at work. This is the highest form of strategic mastery because it transforms opponents into unwitting agents of your will, and allies into instruments of your design. The genius of invisible influence lies in subtlety. The fool believes that power must be displayed openly, through overt domination, through public confrontation, through clear assertion. But such power is fragile. It invites resistance, provokes retaliation, and reveals intentions prematurely. Invisible influence is the opposite. It requires patience, observation, and a deep understanding of human psychology. You must know what men desire, what they fear, what they hope for, and then manipulate those forces so that they move precisely as you intend. And yet, they believe they are acting independently, confidently, and intelligently. This is the true mastery of strategy, the ability to guide outcomes without ever showing the steering hand. To wield invisible influence effectively, one must become a master of timing, suggestion, and perception. You must speak when silence is expected and remain silent when words are demanded. You must appear indifferent when attention is focused and engaged when it is forgotten. You must cultivate unpredictability in appearance while maintaining absolute control behind the scenes. Every gesture, every decision, every interaction must be designed to create the perception of freedom in others while you pull the strings of inevitability. The more invisible your influence, the less likely it is to be opposed, for the mind that cannot perceive control cannot resist it. Invisible influence also depends on the patience to allow events to unfold naturally. The impatient man seeks to impose his will directly and openly, and in doing so, reveals the boundaries of his understanding. The master, by contrast, orchestrates outcomes over time, allowing others to act while you subtly guide their actions toward the preordained conclusion. When the adversary believes he is victorious, when the ally believes they are making independent choices, the victory has already been secured, and the influence that produced it remains hidden, leaving the world unaware that it has been subtly reshaped. The strength of invisible influence lies not only in its ability to guide others, but in its capacity to protect you. When your power is unseen, you are untouchable. Attacks fail because the enemy cannot strike what he cannot perceive. Rivalries dissolve because adversaries cannot locate the source of control. Alliances form because allies see opportunity rather than manipulation. And the world moves according to your design as though guided by chance, when in truth every element has been carefully calibrated by your mind. Finally, invisible influence allows you to control perception itself. Reality is shaped not only by action but by belief, and the mind that can manipulate belief can manipulate reality. By controlling what others see, hear, and assume, you direct their choices, their fears, and their desires. You create inevitability without force, certainty without exposure, and dominance without confrontation. The invisible strategist is the one who wins battles before they are fought, who conquers minds before they are aware of the war, and who shapes history without leaving a trace of his own hand. In this way, the most dangerous power, is the one no man can perceive, no rival can resist, and no observer can anticipate in the end. True mastery is not measured by the moves you make in the moment, nor by the speed of your reaction, but by the depth of your vision, the subtlety of your influence, and the patience to see your designs unfold unseen. While others scramble 3 steps ahead, you operate 10 moves in advance, shaping outcomes, guiding choices, and controlling perception without revealing your hand. The world will believe they are in command, yet every action they take will lead them directly into the reality you have crafted, and in that silent orchestration lies the ultimate power.